What's up, fellow travelers? So we are in Bavaria, Germany right now in a place called Garmisch-Partenkirchen. It's a famous little town that was built in 1936 for the Winter Olympics that Hitler made. But we're not going to that subject today. We're heading to the famous fantasy king called King Ludwig, and we're heading to the Linderhof. Stay tuned. So this field behind us here was really famous because the Roman soldiers 2,000 years ago stayed in that field. There was a famous emperor, I'm sorry I can't remember his name, but he came from Rome to here to meet the different legions that were in this area. I'm sorry I don't have all the facts for it, but it was still a really famous field. And for you metal detectorists out there, that field is definitely littered with Roman artifacts. Alright, for you travelers out there who've never been to this area of the world, I've lived in Bavaria for 18 years, and even today I'm still shocked by this different energy of hospitality here. So be aware that there is kind of an aggressive approach to hospitality. I'll give you an example. The sign outside of this place said it was closed. So we came in going, oh my God, on the internet, it says it's open and now it's closed. So we went to the parking attendant to pay for the parking. Someone was there. Good sign. I told him, hey, in German, your sign outside says the castle's closed. And he said, well, it's open in German. Yeah. And this is the type of unfortunate energy you'll receive, and you just have to laugh it off. And I asked him if you take a card because we don't have any cash. And he said, no, just cash. And I said, oh, well, that sucks because we don't have any. Can we go to an ATM nearby? And he goes, well, just put it on the machine next to the thing and then you can pay with card. So it's hard to get answers. It's hard to understand what's going on. I only laughed, and we laughed about it. We paid. Everything's cool. But, you know, if this kind of thing happens to you while you're here, don't be surprised. Just laugh it off and move on, because that's just in my 18 years experience here. Hospitality and sometimes the Bavarian culture is a unique environment, but it's been my home for a long time and I love it. And if you can deal with just certain things like that and laugh it off, you'll have a great time. All right, guys, so we arrived in the parking lot. Lots of parking here, just show real quick. Lots of room, so don't worry about that. We're gonna head over now to the entrance of the castle, which is over there. And we're gonna take a tour, so hopefully we can film a little bit and show you that. But yeah, this is an amazing place, so let's go. All right, so we're at the beginning stages of walking through how big this entire property is. Behind us, you can see just a bit of a top of it. We'll go there later. That's the Moroccan tea house that he built with Moroccan architecture for himself to go. He was a very life of solitude kind of guy. So he was really eccentric. He was known as being eccentric. He was known as a guy who really spent a lot of time alone. He didn't have much of a love life, just a little bit, I believe, with his cousin. But let me look into that. But anyway, this is just one of many different places here on the facility. If we just pan around here, you can see how beautiful the area is and how much there is to see. Wunderschön. Beautiful people. All right, so a lot of people don't understand that this place is actually quite huge. You don't just come and see just the castle area. He has many other points around this particular area that is so unique. So plan your day not just to see this, but to go around everything and see. Here's the parking lot to give you an idea of where we are here and where we're going. So it's pretty cool. So we're standing here in line. Just for you guys to know, there is a German and an English option. So you can do one or the other. Make sure you're on time because they will open the doors up, they'll shut them, and if you're late, ain't none coming in. Guys, so we just finished the tour and it was such a lovely reminder. It's been a few years, probably about 6 or 7 since I did this, and the amount of detail in this particular tour, you could be there for hours in each room and not see everything. So it's pretty cool to come back here, get reminded how much detail, the eccentric life of Ludwig, and also getting some of my facts right that I may not have said before, like the Moroccan house was not the tea house, but you'll see, we'll do a little bit more inside of those particular places. But definitely an amazing, amazing experience, and I highly recommend it for anyone who's here in Bavaria. He spent almost all of his time here, not at the other castles, so you really get an intimate feeling of König Ludwig and his eccentric lifestyle. Imagine if this place had a 360 virtual tour that you can go back to and look at all those details and kind of relive that experience interactively. Wouldn't that be so cool? So I think if I had like top 3 things I would mention about the castle inside was definitely the cool table. They have a table. He didn't like really talking to people that much, so they designed a table that would actually go down in an elevator to the kitchen, and then it would be moved up with the table ready to go with all the food, ready to eat, and that way he could just have the table come up and eat there. There was also a half-ton crystal chandelier that is phenomenally gorgeous, very nice to see. And also a chandelier made of ivory, which must have taken the guy who made it by hand millions of years. I mean, that's the only thing, how can anyone do that in that amount of time? Really pretty. Also, obviously, everything you see here was built like Versailles. The theme, if you will, was Louis XIV and 15th. He loved Versailles, so it was really French. A lot of different architectures from that time period. All sorts of countries had donated things, or probably gifted, I should say, from the marble, from Italy, from France, from southern France, from artifacts from Brazil. So it's full of like an international theme, kind of, but meaning that there's so many things coming from around the world that presents itself here in Little Versailles. So welcome here to St. Ash's Chapel on the Linderhof Castle property. This was built many years, of course, before the palace was built in the 1600s, but it allowed for people who worked here and for the king to be able to go to church without traveling many miles to be able to attend. So it was both convenient for the workers here and also for the king, I'm sure, who probably came here by himself when he wanted. But it's definitely a very interesting addition to the property that was here before everything else. King's Cottage in translation. Basically what it is today is a museum. So if you're here for only €2, you can go in and see the museum of all the artifacts from the time back then. It's a nice little thing to do on the side if you want to spend a little extra time looking a little deeper into the time and the artifacts to be seen. I highly recommend it. Enjoy. So now we are at the Moroccan House, which was a really unique constructed house that was actually built in Morocco. It was then put into pieces and shipped here in 1876, somewhere around there. And the king used this there's a smoking room, there's a dining room, and there's a reading room. And he would often come here to do those certain things. But what makes this very unique was this house was constructed again in Morocco, but then it was shown in Vienna for the first time at the Austro-Hungarian World Fair. So this is where König Ludwig had interest in the house, bought it, and then had it kind of shipped here. And remember what shipping means back then is there's no roads. This is in the middle of the Alps, and that's a problem in itself to get such a thing here back in those days. So really interesting. Come on and take a look. And something else that you should know is when you come and you're worried about like, how am I supposed to learn anything here? Well, I'll say for 2024, Bavaria didn't do so bad to put QR codes here, so you can scan the QR code and it can give you a little bit of history in German, English, French, and Italian at the moment. Hopefully in the future we'll have some 360 stuff here, and then you can actually take the tour and do a virtual tour that way. right, guys, so this is the way out. There's a souvenir shop and there's some restaurants and things to do. I just want to thank you all for tuning in. This is my first episode. I have a lot to learn still, but I figured my 18 years here living in Bavaria as American, which makes me Bavarian, so I have to share these things. And so if you can support me, I can know that people want to hear more historical things and see this beautiful place, and I can bring it right to your homes. Please hit that like button, subscribe, and give me some comments, please. I'm happy to make some changes or do better. So if you have anything to say, I'm all open ears. I hope to see you in the next one. Hey, just a random fun fact for you people. Who out there knows what BMW stands for? For those who know, please comment in the description, and maybe we'll talk a little bit about what BMW has and why it relates to Bavaria specifically.